Ann Coulter, of course, the best-selling author. If you still can't figure out how to stop Trump, what to do about this, Donald, you got to read her book, Resistance is Futile. It's a very important book, #1 bestseller, Resistance is Futile. And go to AnnCoulter.com. You can get her column and follow Ann Coulter on Twitter. Ann Coulter, how you doing?
Fantastic. How are you, Mark Simone?
Very good. I know we've had this conversation every few months for decades, but so there's a mass shooting. They pass a couple of gun laws and go back to sleep, and that's the end of it.
Oh, it's way more exciting this time because I assumed you, like me, have had your remote control spot welded to MSNBC.
Yeah. Well, listen, give them credit. They figured out the cause. It was because the president used invasion as a word. That's what caused this. This is
we're getting close to election night viewing this week. They have really gone off their rockers, which is not good for me because I would like Trump to feel a little bit of pressure so that he would keep his promises. But no, they get crazier and crazier. It's all out. Trump is literally Hitler. That is the position, not of actresses tweeting. That's the position of every Democrat running for president. A white supremacist in the White House. Oh, the greatest one, which I tweeted. I actually saw this live. That Frank Faguzzi, or whatever his name is, the ex-FBI analyst who has an oxygen tank and a cot at MSNBC so he can be on every 6 minutes. He went on and very somberly reported to Brian Williams, I think it was Brian Williams, that Trump, called for all flags across the country to be flown at half-mast for whatever it was, 5 or 6 days. And he said, this means the last day they will be flown at half-mast is this coming Thursday, which is August 8th. 8-8 is a symbol to white supremacists because the eighth letter of the alphabet is an H. So it's HH for Heil Hitler.
Oh.
That was actually said on MSNBC. Trump is signaling the Nazis in America. Heil Hitler. Oh, my gosh, they're out of their mind.
No, it makes sense to me. That's pretty good. Well, one thing about Trump, he likes these dog whistles. He's not the type to come right out and just say anything. He always has to use code.
Yes, that's right. He's very subtle. He's much like me that way. First of all, they've all concluded through scientific study it was the use of the word invasion that caused all this. And then you watch him at the next moment say, violent mass shooting video games. There's no connection, no possible connection. Right. No, moreover, I just found out. I have some more breaking news for your listeners, at least those of you watching MSNBC. There was another shooting that same day in Dayton.
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders.
You wouldn't know that from watching MSNBC. Socialist, Elizabeth Warren supporter, Antifa supporter. He's bringing about socialism and will not wait for these lunkhead politicians. You would not know there was a shooting in Dayton. It's all about El Paso. It's also I've read the manifesto and. Since I'm a sane person, I don't think everything someone writes is proved false and evidence of an evil heart just because the person is also a criminal. It's like the old line about that's what Hitler said. Yeah, okay, Hitler liked soup. That doesn't mean you can't like soup. But if you read the manifesto, in addition to some actually good and sane points made not only by Trump, but by half the country, more than half the country, a lot of it is about the environment. I mean, he gets, I'd say, 27%. He gets a little earth-firsty. It is true that the illegal alien invasion is a disaster for the environment. I have a chapter on it in my book, Adios America. But Trump never talks about that aspect of immigration. But, they can say that the manifesto is taken directly from Trump's speeches. It doesn't sound anything like Trump's speeches, not to say that there aren't some good points, and some, obviously his behavior was atrocious and crazy, and this is a horrifying thing. But they won't let you read the manifesto so that they can say it's taken directly from a Trump speech. No. Read the manifesto and see if that sounds anything like Trump. But I just heard on MSNBC just in the last hour, Trump brought up the fact that the Dayton shooter was Antifa, and Elizabeth Warren supporter, wanted universal health care as a socialist. This seems to be his obsession. And the Jasmine, I don't know what her last name is, the host on MSNBC said, "Oh, no. There's no evidence of motive in Dayton." Whereas the El Paso shooter was taking his words directly from Donald Trump's speeches.
If you read the Dayton Shooter's Manifesto, it's exactly AOC campaign literature. It's about stopping ICE. It's about taking down border fences. It's climate change. It's everything AOC has been saying.
Well, and every Democrat running for president. I mean, AOC is no longer a fringe candidate. She's the soul and heart of the modern Democratic Party.
What about, there was a third mass shooting this past weekend in Chicago. This guy went into a playground and shot 7 people. Third mass shooting. It gets absolutely no attention. 40-something people were shot in Chicago this weekend, and every weekend. Why isn't that the focus of everything?
You are absolutely right. There is something very creepy about that. I mean, yes, I understand the particular shock and horror of a mass shooting, somebody just walking into a Walmart or a nightclub area and gunning people down. You feel like you're vulnerable any place you go in your life. But to contrast that with just the carnage every weekend of mostly black people shooting black people in Chicago, it really does show an awful callousness toward African Americans, I think.
Yeah, you look at this Elijah Cummings where the president tweeted against him, too bad, and everybody said, boy, that was unnecessary. That was the most necessary tweet ever. Everybody should get on this Elijah Cummings back every second until he does something about Baltimore and helps fix up that area.
Yes, unfortunately, boy, the left is really, and again, I think it does show a callousness toward African American lives, and just, there's going to be a certain amount of murder and drive-by shootings and criminality. But the only thing that can be done is aggressive law enforcement to keep the bad elements away from law-abiding citizens. But there's very little interest in protecting law-abiding African Americans in this country. No, we have to empower the criminals. They're the ones that must be protected from the police. No, the police are the ones who are saving. As you know, we saw when the difference in mayor after mayor after mayor of New York, and then Giuliani comes in and saves thousands of black lives by driving the crime rate down with things like stop and frisk and stopping, young little aspiring hoodlums jumping turnstiles. Yeah, that got guns off the streets. That saved black lives, as many black ministers who were not big fans of Giuliani, much less Republicans in general, as they admitted after 8 years of Giuliani. He saved thousands of black lives. So it's been done before. We know how to do it. Democrats are going in exactly the opposite direction. And boy, you want to look for a conspiracy theory. I'd look for one there.
Yeah. I hate to say it, we're out of time, but everybody go to AnnCoulter.com. Get the book, Resistance is Futile. You mentioned Adios America. That's the best book on immigration and the border, illegal immigration and the border, Adios America. And the new column comes out tonight?
Yes, it does. It's Boffo.
And you can go to AnnCoulter.com or just follow Ann Coulter on Twitter or Instagram or all that stuff. Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us.
Good to talk to you, Mark Simone. Bye-bye.
Take care.